For biological macromolecules, there are four major classes. That includes carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. For this presentation, we are going to be focusing on the different types of lipids and their functions. Characteristics that all lipids have are that lipids mix poorly with water because they are mostly nonpolar. Fats, phospholipids, and steroids are the most biologically important of the lipids, and lipids are not true polymers. They are not a repeated monomer again and again like most other macromolecules. They are a combination of glycerol and fatty acids.
Lipids serve many important functions in biology, such as energy storage, protection, insulation, lubrication, hormone precursors, and they're also found in cell membranes.
There are four main types of lipids: triacylglycerol, phospholipids, terpene, and steroids. Fatty acids, which are involved in most types of lipids, have many unique characteristics of their own and make up the saturated and unsaturated fats.
One important lipid is the triacylglycerol, which is also known as a fat. These are composed of 3 fatty acids and 1 glycerol. To synthesize a triacylglycerol, 1 water molecule is removed to synthesize each bond, which makes up 3 dehydration reactions. A major function of fats is energy storage, which is especially important in animals because it's much more compact than polysaccharides, which plants use for energy.
There are different types of fats, such as saturated fats and unsaturated fats. Saturated fats have no double bonded carbons. They have a linear composition. They are solids at room temperature. Their molecules are packed more closely and tightly, and each carbon is bonded to 2 hydrogens.
Saturated fats are found in many foods, such as butter, non-natural peanut butter, cheese, and ice cream. Saturated fats are more unhealthy for you than unsaturated fats.
Unsaturated fats, which are the healthier fats, have at least one double bond between carbons in the hydrocarbon chain. They are also bent in their structure. Molecules cannot pack as closely due to kinks caused by the double bonds, and they are liquid at room temperature. There are 2 types of unsaturated fats. There's unsaturated fats with a few double bonds, and then there's polyunsaturated fats, which have many double bonds.
Unsaturated fats are mostly found in oils because they're liquids at room temperature. They're found in olive oil, sesame oil, and soybean oil.
Within triacylglycerols, there are oils, fats, and waxes. Oils are fats with unsaturated tails. Fats are a category of molecules united by their inability to mix well with water, and waxes typically contain fatty acids chains connected to alcohols by ester linkages. This is typically seen in plants, such as the wax coating on some leaves. Another type of lipid is phospholipids. Phospholipids have 2 fatty acids and a glycerol in a phosphate group. They help with the formation of biological membranes. They have both polar and nonpolar regions. The highly polar head is the phosphate group, and then the hydrophobic tail is the 2 fatty acids.
Phospholipids are especially important in biology because they make up our cell membranes. Cell membranes are composed of a phospholipid bilayer. One layer of phospholipids will be arranged with the hydrophilic heads on the outside of the cell, where the hydrophobic tails are facing the inside. Then another layer will be arranged so that the heads will be on the inside of the cell, and the tails will be connected to the other hydrophobic tails. Cell membranes are a barrier which prevents charged particles in large molecules from moving through in and out of the cell.
Another type of lipids are terpenes. Terpenes are a long chain of hydrocarbons. They are arranged in 5 carbon subunits. There are different monoterpenes that make up terpenes. Terpenes function as essential oils in the plants. Their function within the plants is to act defensively in order to protect the plant.
Another important type of lipid is a steroid. Steroids have a different structure than other lipids because they're composed of multiple 4-carbon ring structures. In animals, steroids help to control the immune system, metabolism, inflammation, the water and salt balance, and sexual characteristics. Examples of steroids include cholesterol, estrogen, and testosterone.
Lipids are a group of hydrophobic biomolecules that play important roles in living organisms. While the primary function of lipids is long-term energy storage, lipids are also used for protection, insulation, and lubrication. They also act as precursors for some hormones and are a key component of cell membranes. There are 4 basic groups of lipids. These are triglycerides, phospholipids, steroids, and waxes. Although these groups differ in many respects, they all have one characteristic in common. They are all insoluble in water. You may have noticed that lipids and water do not mix. For example, notice the yellow-colored oil in the beaker of water shown here? Even if we stirred this for several minutes or even several hours, the oil would still separate out from the water. This is because lipids are hydrophobic. From Latin, the prefix hydro means water, and phobic means fear of. So when you hear that lipids are hydrophobic, this basically means that water and lipids do not mix.